Hello, this is Yeonmok Group. This year, we informed you that the Chinese premium electric car, Zeekr 7X, will be released in Korea. The expected release schedule is that official information will come out in May or June. It seems like sales will begin, and if that's the case, it's expected that you will be able to actually receive the vehicle starting in the second half of the year. The video that's already getting a lot of attention on the channel is about the 7X. Its design and convenience were really outstanding. No matter how good it is, you can't compromise on safety. That's right. Maybe the reason why people in Korea have been a bit uneasy about buying Chinese electric cars and hesitated to purchase them was because of safety. So let's compare the crash test results of the Santa Fe and Sorento, which represent domestic mid-size SUVs, with the Zeekr 7X. Then, let's first check the overall scores. This is based on Euro NCAP standards, and the Santa Fe's overall score is 4 stars. Then let's first find out which categories are tested. First, the test is conducted in 4 categories. The first is a crash test focused on the first row, which evaluates adult safety. The second is a crash test for the second row, which evaluates child safety. The third is pedestrian safety, and the last is safety for accident prevention, so it's divided into these 4 categories. In the case of Santa Fe, it scored 84% for adult safety, 88% for child safety, and 69% for both pedestrian safety and accident prevention safety, earning a 4-star rating. The higher the percentage, the better the evaluation, so you can understand it that way. But 4 stars is a bit of a disappointing score. The second car is the Sorento, which is the undisputed #1 midsize SUV in Korea. However, unfortunately, the last time this vehicle was tested by Euro NCAP was in 2020, so I looked up all the global NCAP standards. Unfortunately, there was no updated information, and even in the domestic KNCAP, the data is from 2020, so I think you should just take it as a simple reference. FYI, it shares a platform with the Santa Fe, so previous generation results for both were nearly identical. In the case of the Sorento, it received 6 ratings, 82% for adult safety, 85% for child safety, 63% for pedestrian safety, and 87% for accident prevention safety. So, how was the Chinese premium electric car Zeekr 7X evaluated? As soon as I saw the results, I started to feel a bit upset. To be honest, it's not just my mood, it's my pride. In the case of the 7X, it scored over 90% in adult safety with 91% and also exceeded 90% in child safety with a score of 90%. For pedestrian safety, it scored 78%, and for accident prevention safety, it achieved 87%. With these scores, it received a 5-star rating. Especially in the crash test, the most important adult safety and the second row child safety were the only ones to exceed 90%, earning high scores. But when I looked at the overall scores, only Santa Fe received 4 stars, so I wondered if there was a specific reason for this and looked into the details. This might be a reason why you should choose the latest driver assistance systems when buying a new car. There was another crash test result from the same period, so I compared them. Looking closely, the basic version didn't include the safety pack. In the updated information, you can see Smart Sense. So when I checked this item, the Santa Fe also received a 5-star rating. The external pedestrian safety increased from the previous 70% to 77%, and accident prevention safety went up from 69% to 79%. Just by adding the SmartSense driver assistance system, the rating increased this much and received 5 stars. The driver assistance system, in other words ADAS, not only protects the safety of my vehicle but also ensures the safety of external pedestrians, so it should never be overlooked. In the overall score like this, Santa Fe, Sorento, and Zeekr 7X all received 5 stars. In short, their excellent safety has been proven. But why are we comparing the electric 7X with the internal combustion Santa Fe and Sorento? You might be wondering about this. Unfortunately, as of now, domestic manufacturers don't have any electric vehicles in the mid-size SUV category. That's why we're making this comparison. Now, let's compare each category one by one. First, let's talk about adult safety. This category measures the level of injury to the head, neck, chest, and upper body of the front row passengers. Looking at the results, Santa Fe scored 84%, Sorento 82%, and Zeekr 7X received 91%, the highest score. Specifically, Santa Fe received 84%. It received a marginal rating for driver chest protection. As for the Sorento, it was rated weak for the driver's chest and right thigh. Let me remind you once again, since this test was conducted in 2020, it is expected that this part has been improved in current vehicles. In the case of Zeekr 7X, it received generally good scores. The second is child safety, which is a test that checks the level of injury to children in the event of an external collision. Santa Fe scored 88%, Sorento 85%, and Zeekr 7X, which is the newest vehicle, received the highest score with 90%. Since there isn't much difference between the categories, I checked the detailed items just in case, but they were almost the same. So I would conclude that all three vehicles are adequate in terms of child safety. The third category, external pedestrian safety, is not about the safety inside the vehicle, but rather how well the vehicle protects pedestrians or cyclists in the event of a collision while driving. They especially focus on how well the vehicle protects a pedestrian's head during a collision. In the case of the Santa Fe, it scores 70%, and if you equip it with smart sensors, it goes up significantly to as much as 77%. For the Santa Fe and Sorento, the Zeekr 7X received a slightly better evaluation, while the Sorento's data is from a previous report, so please keep that in mind. External pedestrian safety scores also showed little difference. If the driver assistance system in the latest vehicles is up to date, most of them receive similar evaluations, so I think it's important for you to recognize that having a driver assistance system is essential when purchasing a new car. The last item is accident prevention safety. Preventive safety assistance is related to driver assistance systems such as emergency automatic braking, lane keeping assist, blind spot detection, rear cross-traffic collision avoidance, intelligent speed limiters, and emergency driving systems. It evaluates the functions that can actively prevent accidents in advance. Santa Fe scores 69%, and if you equip it with Smart Sense, it goes up to an impressive 79%. In the case of Sorento, it's 87% and Zeekr 7X is 83%. In this category, Sorento received the highest rating. In conclusion, all midsize SUVs, Santa Fe, Sorento, and Zeekr 7X, received the highest 5-star rating according to NCAP standards. They're safe vehicles, I think that's enough to say. And another thing you should keep in mind is your lifestyle. If your focus is on family, then the second row is important, but if you're the only one driving, then it might be the opposite. So I think the wisest thing is for you to make your decision based on your own situation. In this evaluation, the Chinese electric car BYD Sea Lion 7, which is being released in Korea, was excluded. If there are many subscriber requests, should we compare these two? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to automatically receive news without missing anything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Thank you. If this was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe and turn on notifications to get accurate new car information quickly. Thank you.